The objective of the labor inspection is to further strengthen the implementation of the visitorial and enforcement powers under the Labor Code as renumbered, towards securing a higher level of compliance with labor laws and standards and ensuring continuity and sustainability of compliance at workplaces. For this purpose, the Department of Labor and Employment delegates this function to the regional offices with the issuance of a list of labor inspectors who are given the authority of conduct inspection, which covers all private establishments, including their branches and workplaces in the regions. The regional offices, through the labor inspectors, enforce labor laws and social legislation through the conduct of routine inspection, complaint inspection, and occupational safety and health investigation. Upon the discretion of the Secretary, special inspections may be conducted as may be deemed necessary. With the provision for mobile devices and gadgets, the DOLE developed an inspection management information system. An important feature of the system is data capture and transmittal from the field in real time, as an electronic checklist is filled up through the use of mobile devices and gadgets. Data are instantly available for viewing and processing to generate reports, statistics, and summons, including real-time monitoring of decent work indicators based on the country's decent work profile. The TAV, or Technical and Advisory Visit, aims to provide assistance to the micro-establishments, or establishments that have 1 to 9 employees, to be sustainable, productive, and competitive. It also aims to transition our micro-establishments to the formal economy that is profitable, while also complying with our labor laws and occupational safety and health standards. There are different ways or modalities to avail TAV. First is the online method. Establishments can enroll in the self-paced technical and advisory modules through our learning management system. For establishments that opted to go with online, they must accomplish the modules within 1 month from the time they registered. Second is on-site. The DOLE regional, field, and provincial offices conduct on-site or face-to-face orientation for the technical and advisory services, wherein micro-establishments are invited to attend. Third is hybrid setup. Establishments can enroll in on-site sessions and attend virtual meetings or webinars using various online platforms like MS Teams, Viber, Skype, Zoom, or Google Meet. The establishment report system was created to streamline the documents and reports required from establishments in the private sector. Several administrative requirements will be submitted through this site as a central platform. Through this system, employers no longer need to physically submit establishment reports to DOLE, since reportorial requirements can be completed remotely through the ERS. There are various types of report that can be submitted through the establishment report system. These are telecommuting report, job displacement report, flexible work, 13th month report, employer's work accident or illness report, and request for safety seal. The establishment report system ensured the safety of employees of DOLE and its clients by minimizing the risk of contracting the COVID-19, since the need for physical contact has been removed in this process. The objective of the labor inspection is to further strengthen the implementation of the visitorial and enforcement powers under the Labor Code as renumbered, towards securing a higher level of compliance with labor laws and standards and ensuring continuity and sustainability of compliance at workplaces. For this purpose, the Department of Labor and Employment delegates this function to the regional offices with the issuance of a list of labor inspectors who are given the authority of conduct inspection, which covers all private establishments, including their branches and workplaces in the regions. The regional offices, through the labor inspectors, enforce labor laws and social legislation through the conduct of routine inspection, complaint inspection, and occupational safety and health investigation. Upon the discretion of the Secretary, special inspections may be conducted as may be deemed necessary. With the provision for mobile devices and gadgets, the DOLE developed an inspection management information system. An important feature of the system is data capture and transmittal from the field in real time, as an electronic checklist is filled up through the use of mobile devices and gadgets. Data are instantly available for viewing and processing to generate reports, statistics, and summons, including real-time monitoring of decent work indicators based on the country's decent work profile. The TAV, or Technical and Advisory Visit, aims to provide assistance to the micro-establishments, or establishments that have 1 to 9 employees, to be sustainable, productive, and competitive. It also aims to transition our micro-establishments to the formal economy that is profitable, while also complying with our labor laws and occupational safety and health standards. There are different ways or modalities to avail TAV. First is the online method. Establishments can enroll in the self-paced technical and advisory modules through our learning management system. For establishments that opted to go with online, they must accomplish the modules within 1 month from the time they registered. Second is on-site. The DOLE regional, field, and provincial offices conduct on-site or face-to-face orientation for the technical and advisory services, wherein micro-establishments are invited to attend. Third is hybrid setup. Establishments can enroll in on-site sessions and attend virtual meetings or webinars using various online platforms like MS Teams, Viber, Skype, Zoom, or Google Meet. The Establishment Report System was created to streamline the documents and reports required from establishments in the private sector. Several administrative requirements will be submitted through this site as a central platform. Through this system, employers no longer need to physically submit establishment reports to DOLE, since reportorial requirements can be completed remotely through the ERS. There are various types of report that can be submitted through the Establishment Report System. These are telecommuting report, job displacement report, flexible work, 13th month report, employer's work accident or illness report, and request for safety seal. The Establishment Report System ensured the safety of employees of DOLE and its clients by minimizing the risk of contracting the COVID-19, since the need for physical contact has been removed in this process. The objective of the labor inspection is to further strengthen the implementation of the visitorial and enforcement powers under the Labor Code as renumbered towards securing a higher level of compliance with labor laws and standards and ensuring continuity and sustainability of compliance at workplaces. For this purpose, the Department of Labor and Employment delegates this function to the regional offices with the issuance of a list of labor inspectors who are given the authority of conduct inspection, which covers all private establishments, including their branches and workplaces in the regions. The regional offices, through the labor inspectors, enforce labor laws and social legislation through the conduct of routine inspection, complaint inspection, and occupational safety and health investigation. Upon the discretion of the Secretary, special inspections may be conducted as may be deemed necessary. With the provision for mobile devices and gadgets, the DOLE developed an inspection management information system. An important feature of the system is data capture and transmittal from the field in real time, as an electronic checklist is filled up through the use of mobile devices and gadgets. Data are instantly available for viewing and processing to generate reports, statistics, and summons, including real-time monitoring of decent work indicators based on the country's decent work profile. The TAV, or Technical and Advisory Visit, aims to provide assistance to the micro-establishments, or establishments that have 1 to 9 employees, to be sustainable, productive, and competitive. It also aims to transition our micro-establishments to the formal economy that is profitable, while also complying with our labor laws and occupational safety and health standards. There are different ways or modalities to avail TAV. First is the online method. Establishments can enroll in the self-paced technical and advisory modules through our learning management system. For establishments that opted to go with online, they must accomplish the modules within 1 month from the time they registered. Second is on-site. The DOLE regional, field, and provincial offices conduct on-site or face-to-face orientation for the technical and advisory services, wherein micro-establishments are invited to attend. Third is hybrid setup. Establishments can enroll in on-site sessions and attend virtual meetings or webinars using various online platforms like MS Teams, Viber, Skype, Zoom, or Google Meet. The establishment report system was created to streamline the documents and reports required from establishments in the private sector. Several administrative requirements will be submitted through this site as a central platform. Through this system, employers no longer need to physically submit establishment reports to DOLE, since reportorial requirements can be completed remotely through the ERS. There are various types of report that can be submitted through the establishment report system. These are telecommuting report, job displacement report, flexible work, 13th month report, employer's work accident or illness report, and request for safety seal. The establishment report system ensured the safety of employees of DOLE and its clients by minimizing the risk of contracting the COVID-19, since the need for physical contact has been removed in this process.
Sunny afternoon po sa lahat ng mga sumusubaybay sa ating Webinar Wednesdays linggo-linggo. Pagbati po mula sa Intramuros, Manila. Welcome back to another episode of Webinar Wednesdays of the Department of Labor and Employment, hosted by the Bureau of Working Conditions. I am Polly Ong, your host and moderator for this afternoon's webinar. entitled Gender Equality in the Workplace. Bago po tayo formal na mag-umpisa, atin pong hingin ang gabay ng Diyos sa pamamagitan ng maikling panalangin.
Heavenly Father, we come to you today with humble hearts, seeking your guidance and wisdom as we begin this program. Lord, we ask that you would bless every person who has gathered here today, and that you would be present with us in a special way. We pray that this program would be a time of learning, growth, and fellowship for all of us. Help us to listen to one another with open hearts and open minds, and to support one another as we strive to serve you in all that we do. Please give us the strength and the courage to follow your will, and to use the gifts and talents you have given us to make a positive difference in the world. We pray all of this in your holy name. Amen.
Ayan, welcome back. I now formally open episode 12 of Webinar Wednesdays. Good afternoon sa ating 100 Facebook Live viewers. Ayan, pariyak naman po sa ating mga viewers kung tayo po ay nanunood pa. So good afternoon daw po from Marikina City and from everyone. Ayan, so ang dami po tayong mga bumabate dito sa ating comment section. Ayan, we encourage everyone to please share this Facebook Live ng ating webinar and use the hashtag Webinar Wednesdays. Ayan, you may also share this to your colleagues, friends, family members, or pwede rin kay crush. O, diba? Gaya nga rin ng sabi nila Kuya Kim, wagi ang may alam. Ayan, so bago ko po ipakilala sa inyo ang ating resource speaker for today, allow us na kilalanin din kayo sa pamamagitan ng ilang katanungan na siyang inyong masasagutan sa pamamagitan ng ating Slido. So it is an online tool. So may I request our 103 viewers right now to please open your browser or open a new tab and go to slido.com and then enter the code 3160604. So using your phone, pwede nyo rin pong iscan ang QR code para po tayo ay ma-direct po doon sa ating Slido call. Ayan, so for now, ilan na po ang naka-join? Ayan, so 5 seconds po for everyone to join. 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004, 1005. I hope po ang ating nasa 118 viewers, I hope majority po ay naka-join na. So perhaps po pwede na po tayong mag-start sa ating poll. Ayan. So good afternoon daw po, sabi ni Miss May Castaneda Bayaw. Ayan. Good afternoon din po kay Miss Virginia Fernandez. Ayan, may pa-shoutout ako, no? Ayan. So let's start with the first question. What is your gender? So i-select lang po natin doon kung ano po yung ating gender. Male, female, LGBTQ++, or prefer not to say. So kung gusto nating secret, pwede naman doon. Ayan. So 69% of our participants right now ay female. Okay. Next to our second question. What is the size of your company? Or ano ba ang employment size ng inyong kumpanya? Micro, small, medium, or large? O diba? Parang size lang ng damit yan. No? So, ayan. So, medyo nag-aagawan ang large at medium. Pero ngayon, majority na ang large. So at present, 47% of our viewers ay ang kanilang company size ay large. Okay, for our last question, what sector or industry are you from? So meron tayo dito, accommodation and food services, administrative and support services, construction, manufacturing, wholesale and retail, and others. Ayan, select lang po. Ayan, so most po sa ating participants ay others, meaning wala po dun sa aming mga pilian. Pero among dun sa mga pilian namin, marami rin ang from manufacturing industry. Ayan, so half of our participants, others ang kanilang industry, and ang sunod po sa ating others ay manufacturing, then admin and support services. Ayan. So thank you po sa pag-participate sa ating short poll at sa pagpapakilala sa inyong sarili. So few reminders lang po before we start. First, please refrain from spamming the comment section. And second po, should you have questions and clarifications for our resource speaker or dun po kaya sa topic na i-discuss nga, feel free to use po yung ating comment section at dun po natin i-type ang ating mga katanungan. Ito po ay sasagutin later after po ng presentation ng ating speaker. And should we not have enough time to answer all of the submitted questions, this will be answered by our social media team. So magre-reply po kami sa inyong question doon sa comment section. And finally, ang pinaka-important po, sit back and listen to the discussion for a productive webinar session. So without further ado, let me introduce to you our resource speaker for today's webinar. To explain and discuss gender equality in the workplace, our resource speaker is from the Policy and Program Development Division of the Bureau of Working Conditions. So please welcome our very young and sweet resource speaker, Miss Alea Viv Solomon. Ang lahat po sa atin dito. So Miss Bea, the floor is yours.
Thank you po, Ma'am Polly, and good afternoon again to everyone. Welcome to episode 12 of our Wednesday webinar. So for today's topic, again, as mentioned by Ma'am Polly, I will be discussing the Labor Advisory Number 3, Series of 2023, or the Gender Equality in the Workplace. So this LA was signed and posted last March 7 in support with the 2023 Women's Month. So, dito po nakapanood sa presentation na to na ay para sa mga kababaihan. So, okay, let's start po. So, bakit nga ba nagpalabas ng ganitong advisory? To recognize the role of women in nation building and fundamental principle of equality of women and men, and in support of the 2023 National Women's Month celebration with the theme, We for Gender Equality and Inclusive Society. To promote gender equality, so employers shall ensure the promotion of gender equality considering the diversity in the workplace through the implementation of laws, policies, and programs. So, dapat ang employers magbigay ng pantay-pantay na karapatan through the implementation of laws, policies, and programs. Dahil sa panahon ngayon, kung ano ang nagagawa ng kalalakihan, kayang-kaya na rin ng mga kababaihan. Implementation of laws, policies, and programs, meron po tayong 6 categories dito. So, first po is to uphold principles of equal pay for equal work and equal access to work-related resources and opportunities. Pagkakaroon ng pagkakapantay-pantay na sahod, trabaho, at opportunities sa isang kumpanya. Dahil kung ano ang natatamasa ng isa, ng iba, dapat ganun din ang natatamasa ng ating women employee. Example, kung si employee ay nagtatrabaho sa NCR at ang minimum wage rate ay 610, so dapat si women employee ay 610 din ang natatanggap. So, ganun po yun. So, next po. Number 2, consider the protection of women workers from risk and hazard in the workplace to comprehensive and effective occupational safety and health program. So, Sinasabi lang dito na dapat may effective occupational safety and health program ang isang company to protect the women workers. So, alam naman natin, hindi natin maiiwasan sa isang workplace na laging may risk and hazard. So, dapat magpatupad tayo ng effective occupational safety and health program. So, under dito, yung Republic Act number 11058, or an act strengthening compliance with occupational safety and health standards and providing penalties for violation thereof. So in Chapter 4, Covered Workplace, in Section 12, Occupational Safety and Health Program, covered workplace shall have a safety and health program including the following policies, guidelines, or information. So ano-ano nga ba dapat yung nakalagay sa OSH program ng isang company? So dapat merong statement of commitment to comply with OSH requirements. Next is general safety and health, including a drug-free workplace. So syempre dapat safe ang employee natin sa drugs. Okay? So hindi dapat sila nagtatrabaho na under with the influence of drugs, or hindi dapat may kasama silang nagda-drugs. So risk or hazard po yun. Next is the HIV and AIDS, tuberculosis, hepatitis, prevention, and control. Next is company or project details. Next is the composition of duties of the Safety and Health Committee. Siyempre, dapat meron din alam nila or meron ding safety officers or part ng Safety and Health Committee na alam nila kung sino ang malalapitan nila in case nakakailanganin. Next is the occupational safety and health personnel and facilities. Next is the safety and health promotion, training, and education. Siyempre, hindi naman dapat basta-basta lang sasalang sa employee, lalo na kung bago pa lang siya. So dapat meron siyang proper training and education. Next is the conduct of toolbox meetings. Next is the accident, incident, illness investigation, recording, and reporting. So itong accident, incident, illness investigation, recording, and reporting, isa po ito sa mahalagang dapat ilagay sa OSH program. Why? Para kung magkaroon ng accident, may recording, may reporting, so magagawa ng paraan para sa susunod, hindi na po ulit ito maulit. So, ayun po. Next is the provision and use of PPEs. Kung alam nating may risk ang trabaho ng isang employee, dapat mag-provide sa employer ng PPEs. And dapat ipinapatupad din nila ang paggamit nito, lalo na sa oras ng trabaho. Siyempre, to ensure their safety. So, pasasaan pat binigyan nyo ng PPEs kung hindi naman gagamitin, di ba? And dapat yung PPEs ay tested and approved by the DOLE based on its standards. Next is provision of safety signage. Example na lang din po dito, yung paglalagay ng signage ng fire exit, para alam po nila at makikita nila kung saan sila dapat pumunta once nagkaroon ng sunog. Share ko lang din sa inyo, dito kasi sa office, per room, meron kaming fire extinguisher. So, doon sa fire extinguisher namin, may napakalaking signage na fire extinguisher. So, nagtatawanan kami, naglolokan kami na parang, ano ba yan, hindi ba natin alam na fire extinguisher to? Bakit ang laki-laki ng signage yan? Nakakatawa, pero it's for our safety. So, mas madali naming makikita in case na magkaroon ng emergencies, di ba? And next is the dust control and management, and regulation on activities such as building of temporary structures and lifting and operation of electrical, mechanical, communications system, and other equipments. Next is the provision of workers' welfare facilities. Next is the emergency preparedness and response plan. So as I've mentioned earlier, about sa fire exit, so dapat alam nila, di ba, kung saan sila pupunta in case na may sunog or saan sila mag-evacuate. Mas maganda sana kung magkakaroon tayo na posting ng plan or ng picture na kung saan yung pinakamalapit na exit doon sa pwesto nila. Next is the waste management system. And last is the prohibited acts and penalties for violation. So lahat po ng nabanggit ko ay dapat nakapaloob sa OSH program ng isang company. And this safety and health program shall be prepared and executed by the employer or contractor in consultation with the workers and their representatives. The approved safety and health program shall be communicated and be readily available to all persons in the workplace. Next po. So, number 3. Facilitate women employees access to women-related leave benefits. So, ano-ano po ba yung women-related leave benefits na ito? Number 1 is the maternity leave. Next is the parental leave for solo parents. Next is leave for victims of violence against women and their children. Last is the special leave for women. So let us discuss this isa-isa. Republic Act number 112 or the 105-day extended maternity leave law. So under section 3, grant of maternity leave, all covered female workers in government and the private sector, including those in the informal economy, regardless of civil status or the legitimacy of her child, shall be granted of 105 days maternity leave with full pay and an option to extend for additional 30 days without pay. So, sinasabi dito na mapag-government or private sector, lahat ng female employees are entitled sa 105 days maternity leave with pay. Then, meron din silang option, kung medyo nabitin sila sa 105 days at ayaw pa nilang iwan yung anak nila, pwede naman silang mag-extend additional 30 days, kaso wala na po itong bayad. Provided that in case the worker qualifies as a solo parent under Republic Act number 8972 or the Solo Parents Welfare Act, the worker shall be granted an additional 15 days maternity leave with full pay. Kung ang babae naman daw po na nanganak ay nag-qualify or isang solo parent, magkakaroon siya or makaka-receive pa siya ng additional 15 days. So, 105 days plus 15 days dahil kung siya ay solo parent, a total of 120 days leave with pay ang pwede niyang ma-avail. Next is enjoyment of maternity leave cannot be deferred but should be availed of either before or after the actual period of delivery in a continuous and uninterrupted manner, not exceeding 105 days as the case may be. So, as mentioned in the law, ang maternity leave ay pwedeng i-avail days or kunyari 5 days before ka manganak, pwede mo na siyang i-avail or months or 8 months pa lang, gusto mo nang mag-maternity leave, okay lang naman. Or kung actual period of delivery na, baka dito ka naabutan sa office, pwede rin naman po yun. Wala naman pong ano doon. Kapag in-avail ito ni employee, dapat continuous and uninterrupted. So, hindi po pwede na tatawagan ka ni employer after 30 days pa lang yung nagagamit mo sa maternity leave mo, tatawagan ka ni employer na, baka ba pwedeng makiusap na pumasok ka muna for the meantime kasi kulang kami sa manpower eh. Hindi namin kaya, kailangan namin ng tulong. Hindi po pwedeng ganon. Kailangan continuous and uninterrupted manner po siya. And maternity leave shall be granted to female workers in every instance of pregnancy, miscarriage, or emergency termination of pregnancy, regardless of frequency, provided that for cases of miscarriage or emergency termination of pregnancy, 60 days maternity leave with pay shall be granted. So sinasabi din po dito na hindi lamang ginagrant ang maternity leave sa mga babaeng nanganak. Pwede rin itong i-avail ng mga babaeng nagkaroon ng miscarriage or nakunan or emergency termination of their pregnancy. So kung dahil po ito sa miscarriage or emergency termination of pregnancy, meron po silang 60 days maternity leave with pay. Next is Republic Act number 11861 or the Expanded Solo Parents Welfare Act. So under Section 8, the parental leave, in addition to leave privileges under existing laws, a forfeitable and non-cumulative parental leave of not more than 7 working days with pay every year shall be granted to any solo parent employee, regardless of employment status, who has rendered at least 6 months. So sinasabi po dito na yung mga solo parent ay makakatanggap ng karagdagang 7 days leave with pay every year, bukod pa po sa leave benefits na natatanggap nila from their company. So ito po ay pwede nilang gamitin para alagaan pa po nila yung anak nila, or kunyari kailangan ng parents sa school nila. So pwede po nila itong gamitin. Next is the Republic Act number 9262 or the Anti-Violence Against Women and Their Children Act of 2004. So ang Section 43 entitled to leave. Victims under this act shall be entitled to take a paid leave of absence up to 10 days, in addition to other paid leaves under the Labor Code and Civil Service Rules and Regulation, extendable when the necessity arises as specified in the protection order. So ito pong VAUSI leave, ito yung leave na sana hindi natin magamit or walang makagamit na babae kasi medyo nakakaano naman itong leave na ito. So, sinong mga entitled sa leave na to? Ang mga empleyadong naging biktima ng karahasan o nakatikim ng karahasan sa kanilang asawa o sa kanilang kinakasama. Maaari silang makatanggap ng 10 araw na dagdag sa kanilang leave at pwede pa pong madagdagan, depende po sa nakalagay sa protection order. Ang leave na ito ay pwede nilang gamitin kung magkakaroon po ng mga hearings. Next is the Republic Act number 9710 or Magna Carta of Women. On Section 18, special leave benefits for women. A woman employee having rendered continuous aggregate employment service of at least 6 months for the last 12 months shall be entitled to a special leave benefits of 2 months with full pay based on her gross monthly compensation following surgery caused by gynecological disorder. So ito pong Magna Carta or the special leave, ito po yung leave na ginagamit ng mga babaeng empleyado kung sila ay nag-undergo ng surgery dahil sa gynecological disorder. So ano-ano yung sa under ba ng gynecological disorder? So these are the disorders na nire-require ng surgical procedures such as but not limited to dilation and curettage and those involving female reproductive organs such as vagina, cervix, uterus, fallopian tubes, ovaries, breast, adnexia, and pelvic floor. Gynecological surgeries shall also include myomectomy, hysterectomy, ovarectomy, and mastectomy. So this special leave benefit may be filed in advance or within a reasonable period of time prior to the scheduled date of the gynecological surgery. So in case naman na emergency yung surgical procedure, pwedeng i-file ni employee yung SPL or yung Magna Carta once na bumalik na siya sa office. So dito, makikita po dito yung mga nabanggit ko kanina, the maternity leave or the RA 11210. So sino ang pwede mag-avail nito? Lahat ng women, regardless to their civil status, kung married man sila or unmarried. So 60 days kapag miscarriage or emergency termination ng pregnancy. 105 days kung ito ay living child. And additional 15 days kung si employee ay isang solo parent. So kaya nakalagay dito na 60 to 120 days. Kasi pwedeng maging 120 days yung maternity leave ni employee kung siya ay solo parent. The parental leave for solo parents, Republic Act number 11861. So sino ang makaka-avail nito? Those who were left alone with the responsibility of parenthood. So additional 7 days for your additional days leave with pay for them. The leave for victims of VAUSI, the Republic Act number 9262. So yung mga sino ang pwede mag-avail nito? Yung mga qualified victims. So 10 days ang pwede nilang i-avail or more than 10 days. Depende po sa protection order na ibibigay. Then the special leave for women, the Republic Act 9710. So sino ang cover dito? Those female employees who have undergone surgeries due to gynecological disorders. So ang maximum period po dito is 2 months. Or depende po kasi yan kung ano pong ilalagay ni competent physician sa medical certificate nyo. Pero ang maximum po na yan is 2 months po. Number 4, provide facilities and benefits that take into account the employee's maternal function and enhance their welfare. So ano-ano po yung nakalagay dito? The lactation station and lactation breaks for breastfeeding women, and flexible work schedule for pregnant women. So sa Republic Act number 10028 or the Expanded Breastfeeding Promotion Act of 2009 under Section 11, Establishment of Lactation Station, health and non-health facilities, establishment, or institution shall establish lactation station, necessary equipment and facilities such as lavatory, refrigeration, or appropriate cooling facilities for storing express breast milk, electrical outlets for breast pumps, a small table, comfortable seat, and other items. The lactation station shall not be located in the toilet. So, sinasabi lang dito na yung establishment ay dapat magpo-provide ng lactation station or ng lactation area with adequate or with the necessary equipments for the comfort ng lactating mom. So, para naman komportable siya kapag nagpa-pump ng kanyang gatas. And more importantly, dapat hindi po siya located sa banyo. On Section 12, the lactation periods, nursing employees shall be granted break intervals in addition to regular time off for meals to breastfeed or express milk, which shall not be less than a total of 40 minutes for every 8-hour working period. Again, sinasabi dito na bukod pa po sa lunch break na ibinibigay ng company, meron din pong additional 40-minute break para po sa ating mga nursing employees. So, itong 40 minutes para mapa-breastfeed niya yung kanyang anak or para ma-express yung kanyang or mapump yung kanyang milk. Next is the Republic Act number 10151 or the employment of night workers. So on Chapter 5, employment of night workers, on Article 158, women night workers, measures shall be taken to ensure that an alternative to night work is available to women workers who would otherwise be called upon to perform such work. So, dapat ma-ensure lang na employers na may alternative work schedules para tuloy-tuloy pa rin ang pagtatrabaho ng mga working workers. So, letter A. So, before and after childbirth, for a period of at least 16 weeks, which shall be divided between the time before and after childbirth. So, before and after manganak ang women employee, dapat hindi siya agad into night shift. Dapat may interval na 8 weeks pa. Hindi pa sila nakascheduled sa night shift. Letter B, for additional periods in respect of which a medical certificate is produced stating that the said additional periods are necessary for the health of the mother and child. So, kung magkakaroon ng extension sa 16 weeks, as long as na may medical certificate, pwedeng mag-grant or pagbigyan, lalo na kung health na ni mother and child ang nakaano dito. Next, during the period referred to, a women worker shall not be dismissed or given notice of dismissal, except for just or authorized causes that are not connected with pregnancy, childbirth, and childcare responsibilities. So, ayun, sinasabi lang po dito na kapag hindi siya pwedeng bigyan ng dismissal or notice of dismissal kung ang rason ay dahil nanganak siya, nag-aalaga siya ng anak niya, or kung ano mang regarding sa pregnancy, hindi po pwede yon. Unless kung may other reasons. Kung may other just and authorized cause. And a women worker shall not lose the benefits regarding her status, seniority, and access to promotion which may attach to her regular night work position. So hindi rin dapat mawawala sa kanya yung position niya. Kung mataas na yung position niya, nag-day work siya, tapos dapat ganun pa rin po yung position niya. Then yung seniority niya, and kung may promotion siya, ibibigay din po sa kanya kung meron po. Next is pregnant women and nursing mothers may be allowed to work at night only if a competent physician, other than the company physician, shall certify their fitness to render night work and specify, in the case of pregnant employees, the period of pregnancy that they can safely work. So, pwede naman, as mentioned, pwede naman kung mag-night work yung mga pregnant women unless dapat may maipakita silang medical certificate signed by the competent physician na allowed silang mag-work ng hanggang 8 months, pwede silang mag-work ng night shift. Pero pagka kabuwanan niya na, hindi na pwede. So, ililipat niya na siya into day work. And dapat hindi po sa company physician, sa competent physician po. Number 5, ensure women employees protection against any form of gender-based sexual harassment in the workplace through the creation of a workplace policy against gender-based sexual harassment and the establishment of the Committee on Decorum and Investigation in cases of sexual harassment and gender-based sexual harassment in the workplace. Under this is the Republic Act number 7877 or the Anti-Sexual Harassment Act of 1998. So on Section 4, duty of the employer or head of office in a work-related education or training environment, it shall be the duty of the employer or the head of the work-related education or training environment or institution to prevent or deter the commission of acts of sexual harassment and to provide the procedures for the resolution, settlement, or prosecution of acts of sexual harassment. Towards this end, the employer or head of office shall A. Promulgate appropriate rules and regulation in consultation with and jointly approved by employees or students or trainees through their duly assigned representative, prescribing the procedure for the investigation of sexual harassment case and the administrative sanction Therefore, as mentioned, it is the duty of the employer or the head of office na iwasan or hadlangan ang pagkakaroon ng sexual harassment in the workplace. And dapat hindi rin isinasantabi ng employer ang mga gantong reklamo ng empleyado. And the employer or the head shall promote or the rules and regulation which is consulted and approved by the designated representatives of the employees. And kung paano yung proseso, then kung ano yung mga penalties na ipapataw sa kanila. Create a committee on decorum in investigation of cases on sexual harassment. The committee shall conduct meetings with officers and employees, teachers, instructors, professors, coaches, trainers, and students or trainees to increase understanding and prevent incidents of sexual harassment. It shall also conduct the investigation of alleged cases constituting sexual harassment. So dapat meron ding or magkaroon ng CODI or Committee on Decorum and investigation na mag-handle ng cases of sexual harassment. In case of a work-related environment, the committee shall be composed of at least one representative each from the management, the union, if any, the employees from the supervisory rank, and from the rank and file. So kung ulitin ko, kung ito ay work-related, dapat merong representative from the management, from the union kung merong union sa company, employee from the supervisory rank, and from the rank and files. So in case naman kung in case of the educational or training institution, the committee shall be composed of one representative from the administration, the trainers, teachers, instructors, professor or coaches, and student or trainees. So the dissemination of information or posting a copy of the law shall be from the employer or the head of office. Next po is the Republic Act number 11313 or the Safe Spaces Act. So the gender-based sexual harassment in the workplace. On Section 16, gender-based sexual harassment in the workplace. The crime of gender-based sexual harassment in the workplace includes the following: an act or series of acts involving any unwelcome sexual advances, requests, or demand for sexual favors or any sexual natures, whether done verbally, physically, or through the use of technology such as text messaging or electronic mail, or through any other forms of information and communication that has or could have the detrimental effect on the condition of the individual's employment or education, job performance, and opportunities. So dito yung mga unwelcome remarks or demands na whether be done to you by verbally, sabihin sa'yo na, uy, ganito, ganyan, or physically, or through the use of technology. Ito yung parang nagpaparamdam siya sa'yo. Ganon. Letter B, conduct of sexual nature and other conduct based on sex affecting the dignity of a person, which is unwelcome, unreasonable, and offensive to the recipient, whether done verbally, physically, or through the use of technology, such as text messaging or email or through any other forms or of information and communication. So pwede dito yung green jokes directed to the person na. So, ayun, mga sample na ganyan nga, green jokes directed to the person na po. Then letter C, a conduct that is unwelcome or pervasive and creates an intimidating, hostile, or humiliating environment for the recipient, provided that the crime of gender-based sexual harassment may also be committed between peers and those committed to superior officer by a subordinate, or to a teacher by a student, or to a trainer by a trainee. So these are the definitions of the gender-based sexual harassment in the workplace. So kung nararamdaman mo ng or may ginagawa ng ganito sa inyo, pwede nyo silang reklamo sa inyong management. Then under this law din, sinasabi rin dito na ano-ano ba yung mga duties ni employer. So under section 19, dapat pinopost ni employer or disseminate ni employer yung about sa gender-based sexual harassment. Dapat nagpo-post sila sa bulletin board or kung saang area na madaling makita. Or through orientation. So, or sa orientation, sinasabi nila na ganito, ayaw nila ng, hindi nila tinotolerate yung mga gender-based sexual harassment, ganito, ganyan, na in case na makatanggap sila or maramdaman nila, pwede silang lumapit sa management para yung management yung action. And yan, meron din dapat silang CODI, the Committee on Decorum and Investigation, na mag-i-investigate and mag-a-address complaints regarding sa gender-based sexual harassment. Siyempre, kung merong duty sa employer, dapat meron din duty sa employees. Sa employees or sa co-workers. So, dapat i-refrain ni co-workers or ng other ni employees ang pagko-commit ng acts ng gender-based sexual harassment. Discourage the conduct or report act. So kung may nakikita ko, naririnig na kayo, pwede nyo sitahin at isumbong nyo kaagad, huwag nyo pong ipagsasama, walang bahala. Then, provide emotional support. So, syempre, meron nga naman tayong kasabihan na no man is an island. So, we need each others to provide support. So, kahit yung simpleng pakikinig nyo lang, kung naka-experience siya nun, yung co-worker nyo naka-experience nun, lang kayo, pakinggan nyo lang siya, makikinig lang kayo sa mga rant niya or mga sinasabi niya, malaking bagay na yan para sa kanila. And additional din po, meron pong penalty kapag na-commit ang gender-based sexual harassment. So, kung hindi na-implement ni employer yung pagdi-disseminate or yung orientation sa workplace, pwede pong magkaroon ng penalty na hindi bababa sa 5K at hindi rin po tataas sa 10,000 pesos. Then, kung si employer ay hindi umaksyon nung nag-report si employee regarding sa gender-based sexual harassment, meron din po itong penalty na hindi bababa sa 10,000 at hindi rin tataas sa 50K. And lastly, kasama rin po ito sa ini-inspect ng ating mga DOLE inspectors. So, para ma-ensure yung compliance ng employers at ng employees. Next is number 6, recognize, protect, fulfill, and promote women's rights. So, So employers are further advised to visit this link for more information, downloadable collateral designs, and updates about 2023 National Women's Month celebration. So pwede po kayo pumunta dito sa link na to. Search nyo lang po yung pcw.gov.ph. Yun lamang po at maraming salamat po.
Ayan. Thank you, Miss Alea Viv Solomon, for that very informative discussion regarding gender equality in the workplace. So nakaka-happy naman na before we officially started this webinar, we have around 118 viewers. And at present, we have 177 viewers. And patuloy pa itong nadadagdagan over time. So, dun sa ating comment section, may nagtanong, meron ba daw link for the FB Live? Kasi bawal daw ang Facebook sa office nila. Good news! Dahil pwede po ninyong i-replay ang episode na ito, including our past episodes sa FB page ng Bureau of Working Conditions. Kaya kung hindi pa po natin nalalike and follow ang aming Facebook page, please do so para po kayo po ay maging updated sa aming mga webinar Wednesdays at iba pong mga announcement. So may ilan ding nag-comment na watching from work. Ayan. So meron din tayong message from Mr. Maligaya. Good luck daw po sa bar. So very timely because tomorrow will be the second day of the 2023 bar examinations. So to all the bar takers this year, I pray all the best for your pursuit. So thank you din po kay Miss Francis Ann Balane for supporting our webinar Wednesday. So sabi niya, every Wednesday daw niya inaabangan ang webinar Wednesday ng Bureau of Working Conditions. So I hope po marami po tayong natututunan dito po sa ating mga webinar Wednesdays. At talaga pong ito ay aming tinetailor para po sa publiko. So we also have viewers po from Metro Manila, particularly po from BGC Taguig, Marikina, and Muntinlupa. And Visayas represent, meron po tayo from Iloilo, Lapu-Lapu City, and Cebu. At syempre, hindi po papahuli ang ating viewers from Davao City. So from our organization viewers naman po, we have from the Manila Cordage Company, DMMA College of Southern Philippines, and Paco Saving and Credit Cooperative. So pa-heart react naman po sa mga nandito pa at nakikinig sa ating webinar. So I hope po marami na po tayong enough time, no? Ang dami ko na pong adlib para po inyo pa po maipost ang inyong katanungan sa ating comment section. So just a recap po ng naging discussion po ng ating resource speaker. She discussed po yung OSH program requirement as mandated po ng Republic Act number 11058 o ang OSH law. So she also discussed the women-related leave benefits such as the maternity leave, yung parental leave for solo parents, at ang VAUSI leave na ang reminder, ang message ka po niya sana po ito po yung leave na hindi natin gagamitin. Kasi bakit naman po natin gugustuhin na tayo po ay maging biktima ng violence against women and children? At syempre meron din po tayo yung special leave for women. At kanya rin pong tinalakay ang mga facilities and benefits taking into account the maternal function ng mga kababaihan. So nandyan din po yung requirement po on lactation station for mga breastfeeding or nursing employees. And also po yung pagbibigay po ng flexible work schedule for pregnant women kung possible po. So finally po, she also covered po yung Anti-Sexual Harassment Act of 1998 and also the Safe Spaces Act. So trivia time po. So 'di ba sa umpisa po nabanggit po niya yung We for Gender Equality and Inclusive Society. So we stands for women and everyone. This is to give emphasis sa role ng kababaihan at lahat ng tao towards our pursuit for gender equality. We also stands for women's empowerment, which can only be achieved when agencies, mechanisms, instrumentalities, private partners, and of course our duty bearers from the national and local level provide women equal rights and opportunities para po for our female worker have these opportunities and further themselves po. So syempre kung meron po tayo nitong mga opportunity, dapat po tayo mga kababaihan, we should also grab these opportunities at talaga pong i-further pa po or ipahasain pa po natin ang ating mga kakayahan. So because with women and everyone in synergy, we can make gender equality a possibility. So I guess pwede na po tayo sa question and answer. So we may now proceed po. So i-flash po sa screen yung questions that was submitted po sa ating Facebook Live. So ready na po tayo, Miss Bea. Ayan. Okay. So for our first question from our participants po, may I see the question? Ayan. Is threatened abortion may be applied for special leave for women?
Okay. So one of the conditions for the entitlement of special leave for women, so as mentioned earlier, dapat nag-undergone si employee through a surgery of gynecological disorder. So, a question dyan is, threatened abortion ba is a gynecological disorder? Hindi po siya gynecological disorder. So, hindi po siya covered ng special leave benefits for women.
Ayan, thank you, Miss Bea. So ulitin ko lang po, threatened abortion is not a gynecological disorder, hence not covered na special leave for women. So now for our second question, ayan. What are the conditions for entitlement of special leave benefit?
So the conditions to be entitled on special leave benefits, dapat makapag-render si employee ng at least 6 months of continued service sa loob ng 12 months. So, and also, dapat nakapag-file siya ng application for special leave within a reasonable time or before the surgery date, or makapag-file siya kung emergency, kagaya ng mention kanina, kung emergency, dapat makapag-file din siya agad-agad pagbalik niya. Then next is, dapat nag-undergone siya ng surgery due to gynecological disorder, certified by the competent physician. Since the special leave for women is a distinct and independent leave privilege, this may be claimed simultaneously with SSS sickness benefits, subject to certain requirements, and may not be deducted from any existing statutory leaves. Or example na lang po yung sa SIL or VAUSI leave or parental leave. So hindi po siya ibabawas doon. So ibang leave po siya.
Ayan. So natandaan po natin, there are 3 conditions for entitlement. So, syempre, una po dyan yung kanyang length of service. Dapat po siya po ay nakapag-6 na buwan na serbisyo sa loob po ng 12 taon. At syempre, dapat po siya ay nakapag-file ng leave. At pangatlo, dapat po siya ay nag-undergone ng surgery due to gynecological disorder as certified by a competent physician. So, for our third question, ayan. What if a woman employee filed a maternity leave and that during her delivery via CS section, her OB performed an emergency myomectomy to remove the myoma that hinders the baby to deliver? Is the employee can file for a 5.5 months leave aside from the full pay and SSS maternity benefit? Will a female employee be given compensation for the 2 months covering Magna Carta? So medyo lengthy po ang question.
So a woman employee who has undergone surgery due to gynecological disorder during her maternity leave is entitled only to the difference between the maternity leave benefits and the special leave benefit. It is under the Republic Act number 9710. In case the subject employee is no longer entitled to special leave benefit, the employee is no longer entitled of special leave benefit because both surgeries happen at the same time, and the maternity leave is no longer than the special leave. Thus, the subject employee can file, but without additional compensation because the special leave for women coincides with the maternity leave who has a longer period.
Ayan. So kung nagsabay po ito pong si maternity leave at si special leave, yung portion lang po na hindi na po nag-overlap, yung difference yung matatanggap. So kung totally nag-overlap, wala na pong ma-receive. So next po for our fourth question. Ayan. Ang lactation period po ba is on top pa ng coffee break and meal break?
Yes po, na-mention ko po kanina na bukod pa po ito sa meal break and coffee break na natatanggap po nila.
Ayan. So yung not less than 40 minutes na lactation period ay on top ng coffee break and meal break. So medyo marami silang questions, no, Miss Bea. So now let's go to our fifth question. Ayan. Kahit ba naka-work from home, entitled pa rin ba sa lactation break ang empleyado?
Yes po, they shall be granted of lactation periods for 40 minutes for every 8 hours of work, as there is no diminution of benefits under the Article 100 of the Labor Code as amended.
Ayan, thank you, Miss Bea. Klaro, kahit po naka-work from home, entitled pa din. So, next question. Ayan. Maternity leave po ba is calendar days po? How about paternity leave? Working days din po ba same with maternity na calendar days po?
Both maternity and paternity are calendar days po.
Ayan, very sweet and short. Calendar days po ang maternity and paternity leave. So next question. Ayan. Special leave for women. May expiration po ba ang pag-claim?
Up to 1 year lang po siya. So at the end of the year, mag-expire na po ito at hindi na po magagamit ang benefits and hindi rin po ito nako-convert into cash.
Ayan. So every year po ang entitlement ng empleyado sa special leave at hindi po ito nako-convert to cash. Pero wag din naman nating naisin na gamitin natin na magpa-opera tayo para magamit lang ito, no? So now, let's go to our next question. Ayan. Paano po malalaman ni employer na qualified solo parent si employee?
Dapat po si employee ay may maipakita na solo parent ID. At ito po ay ini-issue ni DSWD.
Ayan. So very clear. Meron pong ID na ini-issue si DSWD na Solo Parent Identification Card. And for our last question, kasi wala na po tayong enough question and other questions ay hindi po natin makakover dito, ay sasagutin na lang po ng aming social media team doon sa comment section. So for our last question, pwede po ba naming bigyan ng vowsy leave si employee kahit hindi naman siya nagreklamo?
Hindi po. Dapat po kasi may maipakita pong certificate of pending actions si employee issued by the barangay chairman or barangay kagawad or prosecutor or court. Alin man po doon sa apat na nabanggit ko, dapat ito po ay magiging maipapakita as proof na nagsampa siya ng kaso or ongoing case. And as mentioned earlier po, ang vowsy leave po kasi is ginagamit po kapag may mga hearing kayo. So hindi po siya na pwedeng gamitin lang hindi po siya pwedeng i-avail ng mga hindi naman po nagreklamo.
Yan, so very clear. Hindi po siya pwedeng i-avail pag wala naman pong reklamo dahil may kailangan din po siyang isubmit na proof. So thank you po, Miss Bea, for entertaining the questions that was submitted by our viewers. So very informative. So thank you din po to our 160 strong viewers na nandito pa rin po sa atin. So if you have any additional questions and clarifications, you may email us at askbwc as in Alpha Sierra Kilo Bravo Whiskey Charlie @gmail.com, or you may also call our 24/7 hotline at numbers 1349. At muli po, kung hindi nyo pa po na-follow ang aming Facebook page, please do so or search nyo lang po fb.com/bwc1949 para po tayo ay maging updated sa mga iba't ibang issuances na ipinapalabas ng DOLE. Kasama na rin po dito ang mga announcements and activities gaya po ng aming Webinar Wednesdays ng Bureau of Working Conditions sa DOLE. At sa mga hindi po nakanood o hindi po naumpisahan ang webinar po natin today, pwede nyo pong panoorin ang replay nito sa aming FB page. Pwede nyo rin pong i-replay yung aming mga previous episodes. So again, on behalf po ng DOLE Bureau of Working Conditions and our resource speaker, Ms. Alea Vive Solomon, marami pong salamat sa pagsubaybay and please spread the word. Share po ang aming Webinar Wednesdays. Have a great day and safe day ahead po. Thank you!
Para sa katanungan at karagdagang impormasyon, maaari po tayong tumawag sa DOLE Hotline 1349 o sumangguni sa mga DOLE Regional o Field Office na nakakasakop sa inyong lugar paggawa.